I don't think our next storyteller this evening really needs any introduction because she is a pro. She has been on this microphone more than 3 times, I think. Miss Sara Stevens, who is sitting right over here, as I recall, I don't have your bio. I should have it memorized by now, one would think, but I don't. Has taught English for at least, 800 years or something, roughly, right? And is one heck of a talented storyteller.
So, it's Christmas again. What is it about Christmas that makes all these memories bubble up to the top? Like the bubbly we like to drink? Whenever Christmas rolls around, I tend to remember my mom. Now, I didn't have my mom for a very long time, but what I do remember is that she loved Christmas. And she really loved making it magical for all of us. She would decorate the house and she would decorate her packages, and I always remember that when the dining room table would open up to its full extent, it would be covered with tissues and wrapping paper and little boxes and big boxes and Scotch tape, everything, and it would be so messy and so unlike my mother to have such a mess. But one year in particular, she had some really beautiful packaging. She had little snowflakes that would go on top of each package. The paper was a pale blue and a silver ribbon, and then she would take some of that fake snow and she would spritz them, and I loved that, so I thought, well, I'll spritz them too sometime when she's not looking. But mine came out a little bit more like concrete than a dusting of snow. So she would get all these done. None of them were for me, I knew that. They were all for relatives and teachers and the postman and the milkman and the babysitter and all these people that she wanted to remember at Christmas time. So they were piled all up on the hutch, all gorgeous and tantalizing to a little kid. And then she would also decorate other things in the house. One was a big pink ball about that size, and it had frou-frou on the top and ribbons, and then on the bottom she would put a clump of fresh mistletoe, and she would hang this in the foyer so anybody who came in would get a kiss, and she got a big charge out of that. But the memory that I keep the most vivid is of my mother hunched over her little Singer sewing machine, and she would sew a lot during the year. She was an expert seamstress. But at Christmas time, I would hear her in the middle of the night. I would hear the little Singer going and going and going. And of course, I would have to have another drink of water at some point. So I would tip down the stairs, and she was not too happy with this because with 4 children, she didn't have a lot of time to make surprises. Really, the middle of the night was about the only time she had. I never really saw anything anyway, just a few scraps of material and rickrack and threads. So, in this time period, my mother had made a surprise for me, and I got it on Christmas morning, and I brought it along to show you. And this is it. Now, when I was a little girl, Barbies didn't exist. I just put this dress that was made for my doll, which was bigger, on her and pinned it. Barbies weren't around, and really there weren't any glamorous doll clothes. There were doll clothes, but they were kind of frumpy looking. And I was so lucky to have a mom who could sew. And she made this, if you look at it later, it has beautiful workmanship. And that same Christmas, I was given a big box, a great big box, and I thought, oh, I'm getting a winter coat. She's a little tipsy here. And And so I opened up the big box and I pulled out all the tissue. And there, in the glow of the Christmas morning, was a dress just like this for me. Wow. And it fit me. And I was thrilled, absolutely thrilled. I never could have imagined that my mother would know 3 yards of taffeta and nylon netting would ever yield such happiness. But they did. I had a big imagination, and this put it into high gear. I could be a fairy princess, I could be Miss America, I could be a queen, anything in that dress. It was tremendously fun. So as an adult, I got thinking, well, I don't think that cost her very much to make, really. She probably even had some of this material around because she sewed all the time. So I figured, you know, it was probably a very minimal amount at that, and yet it created such a memory. This dress is probably about a 65-year-old memory, and I've kept it hidden away with my other antiques. But I've decided I'm going to keep it out because it reminds me of what made the day, what made the memory. It wasn't a credit card, it was time and talent. And I think I need that reminder, especially at Christmas time. Time and talent is what did it. And I think one of the things that is good about creating a memory for someone is that it's one gift that you can't return. And for some of us, that memory will last a lifetime.
Sara,